To use the speed bar, you see these little hooks, one on the line and the other on the riser. So, these are connected together just like this. The same goes for the other side. This line runs under the seat through the pulley system and reaches the bar that's beneath your feet. This is the bar you'll step on to use the speed bar. It's very simple. If you can find the bar or the assist strap with your feet, great. You look for it with your feet, place both feet on the main bar, and press gently. When you do this, these two pulleys on the riser will start coming together, which also indicates the percentage of acceleration. Here, it's at 0%. There, it's at 100%. Ideally, for a transition, like crossing from one mountain to another, you don't need to reach 100% since it's not necessary. You'll lose a lot of altitude. When you accelerate, you go faster, but you also lose altitude faster. So, playing between 30% and 50% will get you optimal glide. We'll only go to 100% if there's a lot of headwind, which you'll feel. If at 30% or 50% you're not going fast enough and you keep sinking, then you'll need to accelerate to 100%. But that's only in strong headwinds. Always accelerate against the wind, never with a tailwind. There are exceptions, of course, for example, in competitions where you want to go faster regardless of having a tailwind. But in a regular flight, you always accelerate against the wind. Now, if you can't find the bar with your feet, you can let go of one brake, quickly find your bar, and place your feet on it, always with the wing stable and facing forward. Because when you accelerate, the glider goes faster, loses altitude faster, but there's also a third effect. It becomes more susceptible to collapses. So, be careful. If you're accelerating and feel the wing is in turbulence, in a rotor, or moving sharply, stop accelerating smoothly and stabilize the wing. Don't brake while accelerating, as doing both makes the wing very unstable, which could induce a pitch, or, in the worst case, a collapse. So, in turbulence, stop accelerating, and then, if needed, control the pitch, but first, stop accelerating. Lastly, as an emergency maneuver, you can use the speed bar with big ears, but there's an order to it. 3 steps. First, set your feet on the bar, ready to accelerate. Second, make the big ears. And third, accelerate. Why this order? Because if you accelerate first and then make big ears, the added acceleration could cause a more extensive collapse or even a frontal collapse. So, first, make the big ears, then accelerate. But obviously, if you make big ears and can't find your bar afterward, you won't be able to locate it since your hands are occupied. That's why you locate your speed bar first. Get ready, make the ears, and then accelerate. In places like Miraflores, where the dynamic wind is very stable, there are days with strong winds, so you take off and may feel like you're not advancing, not penetrating. In that case, you can accelerate. Here, however, it's different. In the mountains, where we fly in thermal or thermodynamic conditions, it's better to take off. Wait calmly until the wing stabilizes, and move away from the mountain before using the speed bar or any other technique. Here, the priority is to take off and get away from the mountain before attempting any maneuver, because we're flying in turbulence and thermals where the wing could collapse at any moment. It's better to be prepared than to face a collapse near the mountain. The main reason to accelerate is to improve our efficiency in a transition. This means when crossing from one mountain to another or from one thermal to another. When transitioning with zero wind, you don't need to accelerate, as you'll get the best glide ratio just by keeping your hands up. The glide ratio is how many meters you travel horizontally for every meter you descend. In this example, Our glide ratio is 5 to 1. However, if you want to transition against the wind, it's different because you'll be moving slower and losing altitude faster. This means your glide ratio decreases. You'll travel fewer meters per meter descended. In this exaggerated example, our glide ratio has dropped from 5 meters to 2 meters against the wind. In these situations, we use the speed bar to go faster and improve our glide ratio. Keep in mind that this optimization only happens when accelerating against the wind. If you accelerate with no wind or with a tailwind, you'll worsen your glide ratio, meaning you'll lose more altitude rather than reaching farther. A second reason to use the speed bar is as an emergency procedure. If the wind picks up strongly over 30 km/h, we could face problems, such as not advancing or even going backward. In these situations, using the speed bar helps find a safe landing spot. Lastly, a third reason to use the speed bar is in a paragliding competition. Competitions are a race, and whoever gets there faster wins. So, pilots accelerate regardless of the wind direction, whether it's a tailwind or headwind. However, a student or novice pilot doesn't need to worry about competitions during the early hours of practice, so we'll leave that use of the speed bar for experienced pilots. Thank you for watching this video on how to use the speed bar. If you know of other uses for the paragliding speed bar, share them below in the comments.